If I had known what I'm going to tell you in this video about how to change my limiting beliefs, I would have created success in my business so much faster. And the truth is that after I did change my limiting beliefs, that was the catalyst to several multiple 5-figure launches, an $18,000 a month, which my nervous system was really not prepared for, but that's a totally different story. But in this video, I just really want to take you step by step through my powerful process of changing limiting beliefs. And the way that I teach this is a little bit different because my first business was based around emotional healing. So my process of changing limiting beliefs is really also about honoring the emotional attachments to those beliefs that live in your body, because the truth is the thoughts that we have in our minds live as emotional experiences in our bodies. And so a lot of times, or all the time, if you're having a lot of trouble changing some belief, it's because it lives in your body. And once you release that emotional energy, and I have a video that I will link for you too, then you will be able to change your limiting beliefs. And before we get started, my name is Suzanne, and I'm an intuitive life and business coach, and I help women who want to turn their personal healing journeys and their hard-won life wisdom into a freedom-based online business driven by a really strong personal brand. So the first step to changing your limiting beliefs is really to identify them, like duh, of course, right? So how do you do that? The easiest way to identify your limiting beliefs is to write down exactly what you want to create in life. Write down your vision, write down the business that you want to create, the health that you want to have, how you want your relationships to feel, where you want to live, and what you want your home to look like. And if a lot comes up, you can just focus on one specific area. But then you just ask yourself, why isn't this possible? And immediately your brain will give you all of your limiting beliefs, like, just delusional. If that was possible for me, it would have happened already. Stuff like that doesn't happen to somebody like me. I'm not capable. Just all of these stupid limiting beliefs, right? Which aren't stupid because they're things that you're struggling with that we all struggle with. But the key here to know is that any idea or thought that tells you that you can't do the thing that you want to do is a flat out lie. And it's a limiting belief because you have the vision in your heart for a reason. And I really believe that the desires in our heart are our soul contracts that helps us to grow in the way that we're meant to. And so, of course, maybe you're not that person right now, but the journey of creating that vision is the journey of becoming the person that you're meant to be. Okay, my dog was barking, so I had to go get him. But now we're back. So the next step, before you start to reprogram these limiting beliefs, I want you to really feel, where do they live in your body? And again, I will post the video to my emotional healing technique, where you can go to my Substack and get an audio version of the guided meditation that will help you release some of this emotional energy, because we have emotional attachments to our thoughts. Maybe you learned them from a parent or from a teacher. I don't know about you, but half of my limiting beliefs didn't even come from my parents. They came from like teachers or just other people who say all kinds of crazy things. So really, as you're going through these thoughts, you can ask, where did they come from? I really am a fan of like shadow work and deeper emotional healing, but a lot of times that can just become like a rabbit hole. You probably know exactly all the ways that you're effed up, right? We all do. We all know, like, oh, my mom did that to me, or my dad did that to me, and so now I have this pattern. Like, a lot of us, especially the women in my world, are really self-aware, and you know exactly why you do the things that you do, or why you think the way that you do. And so that's not the issue. It's like, you know why, now you need to change it. And so the first step is to really feel that the emotional tie in your body. And you just do that by being present with it. And you can communicate with that emotion and just ask, like, what message do you have for me? Because a lot of times underneath these limiting beliefs are deeper fears that you're not good enough, or fears that the people in your life won't love you anymore, or fears of what will happen if you change and you disturb the balance in your life or your relationships, or fears of failure. There's just so many deeper fears. And so when you feel and release the emotion in your body, and just like, what do you need to know to feel safe, to let this go and to think a new thought? and really honoring that instead of being in a place like, oh, why can't I think this way? Or I'm so timid or scared or not courageous. Like those are limiting thoughts too, because at the core, you are courageous, you are strong, you are smart, you are capable. And the only thing that is not true are the thoughts that tell you that you're not. And so part of that is creating that emotional experience of being those things, of recognizing the truth of who you are. So after you sit with those emotions and you release them, you can do it in your journal, in meditation, whatever, then you write out more empowering beliefs and just ask yourself, what's the higher truth? What is the higher truth of like, I'm scared to fail? Well, it's okay to fail. It's a learning experience. Failure doesn't actually exist because what happens when you try new things is the current version of you does things. And then through that process of trial and error, you grow. And then when you grow and become the person who has the skills and ability to create the result, that's when you create it. So, just thinking about though, you already know, your soul knows what is the higher truth. And then you want to just remind yourself. The last step is to just remind yourself of that higher truth. So every time you go through your day and you start to really notice your thinking and notice when you are feeling negative about yourself or when you're getting caught in like a funk, a mind funk. What is the thought? Just ask yourself, what is the thought or fear that is really driving this, and then change it. And if you need to sit with that emotion, because a lot of times you process an emotion and then it's still there and you have to process it again, and that's totally fine. It takes as long as it takes, right? And sometimes there is a totally big mindset shift, a way more empowering thought that totally changes the paradigm. And that's why working with a coach can be so helpful, because a lot of times you'll be battling against a specific thought and trying to change to a new thought. But then, if someone who thinks at a completely different, more expansive level gives you a totally new mindset shift or philosophy to sit with, then you could be like, oh, and it just expands your whole world. But you just want to become aware of your thoughts and learn to shift them and do it over and over, and just really have patience with yourself through the process, love yourself through the process, and just continue on for as long as it takes. So if you want to learn more about exactly how to journal to work through some of these limiting beliefs, I have this video right here, the journaling technique that changed my life. So definitely go ahead and watch that. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What was your biggest takeaway from this video? I love hearing from you. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.